What's the deal, family? Welcome back. Sips of Success podcast.
What is up?
What's going on? How you feeling today, babe?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's sunny outside. It's February.
It's so weird.
It's the oddest February ever.
Yeah, but we are not complaining. We are in Michigan, if you didn't know, and February is usually frigid. So
like brick outside.
It's nice. We're taking the sun and the mild weather.
Yeah,
sucks that it's global warming, but hey, silver lining.
We'll
is
take
that. What are we sipping on?
We are sipping on some fresh juice today. You know. Oh, cheers.
Cheers. It's tart but very refreshing.
So this is cucumber mint, lime, lemon, ginger, and green apples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's tart, but it's good.
Yeah, it's like a, I don't know, it's like a sour juice.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we make green juices, it's like with kale or spinach or something like that.
And it's very green.
Like pungent. And I just didn't feel like tasting that today.
So. No, this is really good. We'll leave the recipe in the description as well as these glasses. If you're not watching on YouTube, you can still see the recipe. But
yeah, so this is the sip for success today. So let's get to it.
Okay, so this or that. We are talking money today. So this or that. Would you rather share a bank account with your spouse, like have a one pot theory, or would you rather have completely separate finances as a couple?
Which one would I prefer? I get joint. I would prefer joint. Yeah.
One pot theory.
Yeah, not one pot literally though. Not like it's just one bank account just sitting with money. No, but yeah.
Okay.
One joint situation, like we're joint. So
I agree.
I can touch, you can touch.
Yeah, I think that the money should be accessible to both people if you're married. Now, we did not have one pot when we were dating, when we were engaged. When we were engaged, we opened up our joint account, but we weren't really using it.
We started our first business too before we got engaged.
Yeah.
So we had a business account too.
But I definitely think that having one pot just makes things easier, at least for us. Now, let's...
Wait, what do you... well, you're agreeing.
Yes, yeah, okay. I think it's good to have one pot. But I think some people think that one pot means that you only have one bank account. And you were saying, no, I don't think we should have just one bank account. Yeah. So I guess explain how ours works.
So obviously, when you get married, you probably were single before. So we obviously have our own bank accounts, and we got several accounts, basically. And once we, got married, those all became accessible to each of us, basically.
Right.
So that's kind of what I mean by it's
one
joint,
pot.
But it's basically more than one pot, but we can touch all the pots.
Exactly.
Equally. Basically.
And also, if something were to happen to either of us, God forbid, that we are both the beneficiaries on each other's account. I am the beneficiary. Am I the beneficiary?
Yeah.
Do that? Okay. Yeah, so that is also important, because if something happens, we want to make sure that goes to the right place. And I heard that these bankers be scamming people, and if someone doesn't have a beneficiary, they will put their own name in there. So you definitely need to make sure
that's crazy.
that you have someone on your bank account, even if it's your friend, your mom, somebody. You do not want no random banker having access to your money after... I mean, you're not gonna be here, but still, that's something, I
had to take my sunglasses off for that because I will slap the banker.
Babe, you won't.
Nah.
But anyway, so let's talk about how we operate. If one of us wants something that is expensive, do we share that with each other? What is that threshold of, okay, you can spend $200 by yourself, but once you cross that line, you need to call me and ask me if that's a purchase worth buying. That, if we're one pot, this is technically our money.
Yeah.
So how does that work for us? Or what do you think is Because I don't think we've ever really talked about, like, if it's X amount of dollars, you need to call me.
I feel like we haven't talked about it, but I feel like it didn't have to be said either. I feel
Okay.
like if you go shopping, I don't know. If you go shopping, like you just went to the mall, I don't know, spent. First of all, I've never seen you spend more than. I don't think I've really seen you spend more than $1,000. I don't even think you've been close. You for sure been close. But if you go to the mall and go shopping, like I don't think you need to tell me, because I just don't expect you to go and spend $20,000 at the mall. That would be outrageous.
Right.
Not saying you can't. I just ain't never seen her do it. And
Yeah,
if
no.
you spent 20 grand, then I would need to know that.
No,
basically.
that's unacceptable.
Yeah, that's like insane. Like, what are you buying? That's whatever amount of money that's. But like I said, it's never had to be said. But I feel like we've bought you a purse every year since we've been married. Well, several, but like big purchase ones. And the first one was our first one. That was, whew, I was still, like, but yeah, go ahead.
You're like, sure, babe, you deserve it.
Yeah. Lying for sure. But she do deserve it, but it's still like from someone who just never, I never really spent a lot of money on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't tell Aaron no to pretty much anything. So it's like, you want that? Yeah, go ahead. Me, I tell myself no every day, just about. But so I don't know. I don't think I've ever had to think about a number, but I feel like naturally you would think like, okay, if this is, I don't know, $5,000, you're probably going to say, hey, I'm thinking about getting this purse.
Not probably. I'm definitely calling you.
No, I'm saying I'm saying that probably is to the purse. Not you're probably calling me. You are calling me.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're thinking about getting a new bag or whatever the case may be, and you're like, hey, I need to see if I can get this, basically.
Right.
And no, we don't have to ask for permission. It's just kind of like a respect type of thing.
Yeah, I feel like I think for me, our threshold is like $1,000. Like
For to say something?
yeah, like if you buy a pair of like designer shoes or I don't know, like whatever, like some type of camera or something, like you're not really calling me like, babe, is this fine? Like, sometimes you will, like you more so will be like, do you like this?
Yeah.
Like, do you like these shoes or do you like this coat or should I, like Cameron has a much harder time spending on himself than I do. So he's definitely more likely to just ask me like, do you think it's worth it? Do you like it? Like thinking through the purchase more. I am the same way. Like we have very similar money habits. So I don't really like making financial or like big purchases without you because I feel like we both kind of encourage each other. Like, yeah, you should. Like it's not like we're just like extremely flashy people or we just buy a whole bunch of like super expensive stuff. So I think about $1,000 is where we're gonna pick up the phone and be like,
Should I get this?
Yeah, like should I get this? Yeah.
Have I had any of those moments? 'Cause I don't think I spent $1,000 on anything yet.
No, like, you bought those Gucci loafers, but then you took them back. You didn't ask me about those.
They weren't $1,000 though.
They were green. I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But they were like probably what, $700-800?
They were they were $600.
So I mean, like that could be considered a pretty big purchase. I
Yeah.
think it also weighs in on like
Well, I didn't call you, but I did say, hey, I seen these.
Yeah.
You didn't say, you said you encouraged it.
Yeah.
And I ended up buying them, but not at that moment. But
yeah. But I think it also depends on like how much money you have. Like everybody's threshold is going to be different based upon their financial positioning and like what you have, like probably 5-10 years ago, it wouldn't be $1,000.
this wouldn't even be a conversation.
It wouldn't even be a conversation,
5-10 years ago, shoot.
Yeah.
You was trying to get 100 out of me.
I was fighting for 100.
Like, no.
But yeah. So, okay. So I think we're on the same page with that. Now, when it comes to the business.
Yeah.
So we not only manage our personal finances together, we also manage business finances, which just adds another layer. And I know you guys have probably heard a million times that one of the main causes of divorce, I don't know what number in line it is, I think maybe number 2, but is finances. And when you're not on the same page about money, it can just spiral, you
Yeah.
know? So when it comes to business, like or not necessarily business, but just our finances in general, like you
Yeah.
manage our finances. Cameron pays all the bills. He just makes sure everything is done. So let's share some of the things that we do to make sure that we stay on the same page with our finances.
Yeah, I pay all the bills. I do make sure everything is paid for. Erin should probably know all of them. I think she's just more so aware of like our mortgage and her car payment. I don't think she know which days like our utility bill, electric, gas. So I probably should like
We need to go over that.
go over that with her. But yeah, I'm trying to think. There's certain days every month that like utilities, and then obviously the first of the month is for
Right.
everybody. I think it's the first of the month, and her car just happened to fall on the first of the month. So,
But like, what are the things that we do? Like, we have our marriage meetings.
we have marriage meetings. I have an Excel spread of what costs what, how much total in a month. I have to pay off her credit card every month because Erin doesn't use debit
I
or
never
cash,
use my debit
so,
card
I mean, in a good way.
because
It's a
I
good
like
way
to rack
like,
up the points.
Yeah, she likes to get the points, and then make sure it does make your credit look good, especially when you pay it off,
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, I for the most part, this is how I think. I think this is why it's successful. I think because one person focuses on it, it's not like anything. There's no gaps anywhere.
Yeah.
And when I pay for something, I'm like, hey, bills are paid today. Now, whether or not she know which bill that is, that there may be. So yeah, we got some things to go over with that.
Yeah, and
just in case something does happen,
right.
so she
That's
can know
for
like
sure
where's
necessary. Like, do not recommend being completely like oblivious. But it's just honestly, I just had a vlog about this. We had a finance meeting with my mom, which is another thing that we do. Is with the business. My mom keeps all of our books. Shout out to the bookkeeper mom.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys are her clients, but she just keeps everything so organized.
Like
Sometimes
tight.
She's calling me like, what is this on your Amex for, some
Amazon.
random company? And she's like, okay, because I need to categorize this. Like, your books have to stay clean. And we take that very, very seriously. We keep our personal finances completely separate from business finances. Like, we don't play about that because the IRS is not going to come for us.
We ain't going to jail. No. It is not that deep.
No. So we are extremely diligent. We run payroll, like all the things. But when it comes to business finances, dang it, I lost my train of thought because I went into an aside about like what we do with my mom.
When it comes to business finances, like what do we do, or what are you thinking?
Well, I think I'm just a little bit more privy in that area than personal. And for me, like I don't recommend you to be completely oblivious to like what is going on with the finances in your household. But we're just so comfortable in our roles as a couple that I just know it's being taken care of. And I have, that's what I was going to say. Like from the vlog, like I get pretty, I won't say bad anxiety because anxiety is actually a medical disorder, but like I get really anxious about looking at my bank account. I don't know why. I think it's
Erin
like
you literally don't. She never knows how much money she has in her account. She probably asks every weekend, like, do I have it?
I'm like, can I buy this?
Yeah, I'm like,
we're at the grocery store buying bread, and I'm like, is this okay?
And I'm just like, bro.
I know.
So
it's really bad.
She's definitely not bad with money, but it's bad she doesn't want to look at it for some reason. I still don't understand.
It makes me anxious. I don't know. Let me know if this is how you are too. But like, it just really, it's the idea that less is there than I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Or my credit card is more there than I'm expecting. Like, I don't know. It's just,
But you don't mind you use your credit card.
I
Oh,
know.
you use that.
I know. I'm
For
literally
sure.
sweating.
You need to, why don't you just wear a t-shirt
I should
sometimes?
have just. Should I take this off?
Do you have a t-shirt under
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I'm literally
Okay.
smoking hot.
Aaron has to take wardrobe malfunction.
I was sweating, probably because I was getting anxious about talking about money.
You girl over here sweating bullets talking about money.
Yeah.
She has on my shirt, similar jeans.
No, I got dressed first of all. So
She loves 20.
whatever. Okay. So what would be not necessarily your advice, but what is something that you think we can improve on when it comes to us managing finances, minus me being more involved with our household finances?
You know, something I think we can improve on is not being afraid to give ourselves, because we have a business, we have to live and we have to pay ourselves. Something that I think we can improve on is not being afraid of paying ourselves what we should, be paid every month.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because something obviously, again, I no longer work in corporate America. So even now I'm like, oh yeah, no, we can't live so, we live below our means, but we can't live so below our means. Like it's now to a point where, oh yeah, no, we need to pay ourselves what we actually make, basically.
Exactly.
And not the whole thing, but like if we work, when we work the job, you have a consistent paycheck every other week. And you don't have a choice but to have this amount of money. So something that I say to us is we can't be afraid to pay ourselves. And if we are afraid, that means we ain't working hard enough.
Right. And for another thing that I learned when I was working with someone who was like helping with the scaling process is she was saying how a lot of business owners get very anxious when they don't have a ton of money sitting in their business bank account. And I find that to be so true because it's like you could potentially have millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars just sitting in there, not really doing anything. And it's like you're scared to pay yourself more because you're like, well, I need this for X, Y, Z, but it's just like as long as everything is properly allocated, it's fine. Like if you can consistently bring in 10K a month or you can consistently bring in 100K a month, like you just need to know like how to divide that up and basically not zero out your business bank account, but like everything basically has a place.
Yeah, has a place.
Has a purpose. Each dollar is going somewhere.
And then I wouldn't say zero it out. Like
No, not zero, but like.
Well, I'm saying to make it clear because some people may think I need to. If you like your business also has its own set of like basically livelihood. So your business has to also run. So it's like, but you can't underpay yourself
exactly
for what you're making because if you're working at a job,
50% goes to payroll, 30% might go to expenses for the business, 20% goes to investments, 10% goes to insurance or whatever. Like that's what I mean when I say like zeroing it out. It's not to say that your bank account has $0 in it, but it's like every dollar is allocated towards something. And she was just saying like a lot of business owners, they're scared to hire, they're scared to scale, they're scared to spend money because you just are so used to just seeing this number tick up. And that's not necessarily the sole purpose of having a business, especially if you're just not doing anything with the money.
Like it's just sitting
there. So I think it's just overall like as you make more money and as we make more money, it's like your mindset around money has to change.
Yeah.
And that's where we've been at, is just trying to make sure that we don't continue with the same mindset when we're trying to reach new financial levels.
Yeah. It's kind of like me and Aaron are definitely not risky. Like we don't have a risky marriage. We don't risk our finances. Like we're not risky in like no areas of life.
Yeah, honestly, we're pretty safe people.
Yeah, we just like being safe. It feels good to be safe, not to be like, oh shoot. So,
but I feel like we take calculated risks when we do take risks.
And that's what I was gonna say. So like when we do, so we have a couple of investment accounts, but they're not like going to kill us. Like when we do it, it's because we basically do it in a space where like, all right, we can allocate that there. we don't even care about
We
seeing
can
it.
afford to lose it.
Yeah, basically. So like that's how we move it in a way.
Yeah.
But also we do other things like with our we have insurance policies and different things like that. As soon as we got knowledgeable of that, that's a whole nother investment. That's something that for either of us really growing up wasn't really taught.
Exactly.
But when you know something and you don't use the knowledge about it, what's the point of moving forward? So I don't know. I think if we're not afraid to do those things once we learn about it, we also can't be scared to like be fruitful to ourselves because number one, we earned it. But also number two, if we want more things, we have to be able to do it in a logical way.
Right.
We can't at that point you don't want to just take from the business because it's sitting there.
Right.
Or because, oh yeah, I got that. When you really want something, you don't want to have to look at your business account and say, oh well, let me go get 50 grand and because
Right.
I now need it. When you could have just maybe saved that. Maybe your savings can move up to that.
Increase,
And then
yeah.
I will say since we've been married, and that's the difference, talking about savings and stuff, because we know what we have, we don't save like how we did when we were both single.
Right.
Like
There-
how aggressive I was, but that's because that was just the only, it's
Yeah.
coming from like one
One
source,
stream of
one stream of
income.
income. So I get it, but I still think those habits still have to be true
I
when you
agree.
have your own business. So
For sure. And when I was first starting Earn on Demand, and like not even just starting Earn on Demand, when I was still working like a job, I used to print my bank statements out. I would highlight, color coordinate, blue is for eating out. And I would highlight everything that month blue that I ate out. And yellow is shopping or, bills, car insurance, whatever. And I would color coordinate everything. And then I would tally up like how much I actually was spending, because there's a difference between how much you think you spent and how much you actually spent.
Yeah.
And most of the time we are underestimating how much we actually spent because we spent $10 on Amazon, did X, Y, like it all ends up adding up so fast. And you're like, oh shoot, I forgot I even bought that, or whatever. So,
And if you spend your credit, because when you spend your credit card, you might think, oh, it says I spent up to, I don't know, like just say $2,000, but really your last purchase was probably $1,000, but it hasn't transaction
Exactly.
to
It hasn't
the
made
balance
that
yet.
bank statement yet.
Yeah, so
But yeah, so I think it's just implementing, like we need to start back implementing some of those things.
Basics.
And that's what we've been kind of on lately, is just
Getting
getting
back
back to
to
the
our-
basics,
yeah.
just putting energy toward things that we used to pay more attention to the details of, that we have since kind of become a little bit more relaxed about.
yeah.
So yeah.
And then something I just found my note from 2014.
Wow.
No, yeah. Well, it's been updated since, but I started in 2014, and this is how I saved. By the time me and Aaron got married, I said it before in the video, I saved. I had a goal to save $100,000. Before I got married. That didn't happen, but I saved $85,000. How I did that was my necessities, which was my savings, was 60% of what I earned. I had an emergency fund, which was also savings, was 20%, and then financial goals, which also went to another savings, was 10%, and then 10% was just for whatever I wanted to do. So that included whatever I wanted to do was my car note, my insurance, my phone,
And the $100 I was trying to squeeze out of him.
and whatever little date we would go. So like that's like, I know that's like crazy, but it was a different type of like scared. Like I feel like you kind of learn to survive. And once I got into a space where I was consistently making money, I'm like, well, this is the only way I know how to survive. I'm not trying to lose any of this.
Right.
So I just kept on building, and I had a very small amount for basically fun.
Yeah.
Because my wants literally included my car note, insurance, and I paid off when I bought my first car when I was 21, my first new car.
Mm-hmm.
I paid that off in, what was it, 2.5 years or something like that. So I was aggressively paying on that.
Yeah, and then
And then it died. Like it was a limit. I was like, bro.
it was so sad.
But also I bought another car. Like I have my car now is an Audi. I've still been driving that. That's paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't bought another car since. And I'm not, and trust me, I want several cars. So it's not to say that you shouldn't go get what you want. It's just like kind of being cognizant of what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Exactly.
And that kind of got both of us started because she saved like crazy. She just wanted to spend my money. When, when she was living in DC, and Aaron, don't let Aaron fool y'all. Her job before she went solo, she was making good money. I would go to DC, it was like she was making no money. So,
babe, that is not true. I wrote the red carpet out for you when you came to DC.
You might have rolled it out, but who paid the bill?
I had everything
planned,
honey,
and I had everything charged. But by this time, I was also making more money, so my wants budget was a lot higher. It was yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a mix of every season and every like the more you grow, you have to be able to like also grow in those areas that are growing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't, then we'll still be stuck how we were. And I kind of part of me is like we're still like we're comfortable and we in a way have a comfortable mindset, but I think we still hold on to some of the habits that got us to where we are, and we need to let go of those and create the new ones so that we can also elevate with what our business is doing.
Yeah. It's kind of like the plant analogy where it's like my dad loves plants and he's always telling me like, Aaron, I've had this same plant for probably 3 years. It's a ZZ plant. And my dad
in the kitchen or the like
in my office.
Oh, your plant
on my shelf. And my dad is like, Aaron, this plant needs a new pot. Like, it's just not going to grow. My dad got his ZZ plant a year after I had mine. His plant is like huge.
Yeah.
Mine is still in the same pot and it's still the same size as it was when I first got it.
And it's getting weaker.
He keeps telling me like, Aaron, your perfectly amazing plant is not even high maintenance. Like, it's a low maintenance plant. You put like 2 ice cubes in it and it's fine. But like, if you don't repot it and put it in a bigger plant, it's never going to grow. Like, it's just going to stay the same size. And I still haven't repotted it. So maybe I'll repot it. And
it's your project for the
because it just makes me think of, like sometimes, I don't know, but like those little analogies really do kind of help think about see things in a different way. And it's like, it's jacked up because it's like that environment that plant has been in for so long. It's comfortable, like it's not dead, it's not dying, but it's just not growing, and it could be.
Yeah, think about it. Before, it's kind of like we were saying, getting back to the basics and all the things we did to get to where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
We came from our parents' houses. Like I lived at home my entire life up until marriage. So I never had my own place.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say with your savings too. Like you really didn't have any bills
besides
I didn't your car.
Yeah, and I pay for a couple of bills that I still pay for at my parents' home.
Mm-hmm.
They just ain't took them back. Nah, it's cool. But no, even that also helped for sure. I'm pro stay at home as long as you can, if you can.
Yeah.
Because that will help you out in the longer run. But I was gonna say, once we bought our house, we were like, oh, cool. So we actually, when you talking about the plant thing, it made me think. We bought our house, we've been in here, and it's like, oh, we're just in here now. And we will say like, we want the next house. We want a bigger house and stuff like that. And all those things are okay, but per the analogy, we acting like this plant.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
We're not watering it sounds bad. We're not watering ourselves enough. We are, but not enough. It's just like, all right, cool. I'm going to maintain it. And that's what we've been doing. And it's fine if you just want to maintain, but for us, we have multiple goals in life to keep going.
You also don't want to wait until the plant is like extremely stressed out and like literally about to die before you're like, okay, let me replant it. Like, let me repot it.
You've been taking them something off.
Yeah, because now it's going to take way more effort to bring it back to life, you know? And that's kind of what we were saying with the last episode about you plateau, and like it's so much easier to dip from a plateau than to increase. Up. And it's like the same thing. It's like you don't want to wait until you are in a position where you are like, I don't want to say dying, but for the sake of the plant analogy, like the plant is dying before you pay attention to it.
Yeah, but it's kind of like other examples we've seen. Like we have seen people go up, but not maintain it properly. And next thing you know, they're like right back down.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you know that can happen, we have to be cognizant that that can happen to anybody, including us.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have to like know like, hey, this is what I gotta do. This is what we need to do. Like when you say writing goals, you gotta really stick to like those goals.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stick to them, then you're gonna do the things that it takes to, you know, like one of our goals is we said in this house, literally before the house was done, before we even started building, we said the first house we want to do 5 years in it, and we want to get our family home. Like we want to get like the next home, like a big enough home, because we want to do stuff like host both sides of our families and have just a big yard. We have a dog now. We didn't when we bought this house, it was not with a dog in mind.
Yeah.
We weren't even thinking about a dog. I don't think like that wasn't. It was just really with us in mind. So even just as a learning point, like knowing that when we go to those next stages, like we have to try to think about everything that might be a possibility and put that into the future.
Exactly.
So like, I don't know. I feel like I've learned a lot since we've moved into the house, and now that we've done it, I'm ready to like create a new stage. And you know.
Before you know it, the time just leaves you, and it's like
because this is year 4.
You look up and you're like, "Oh my God, what happened? Where did the time go?" And it's just like you have to. You don't wake up one day and be like, "Okay, today is the day that I'm gonna do what it takes to reach my goals." Like that is something that like is a continuous daily effort.
Like it's your day-to-day habits.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So cheers to that.
Well, cheers. Let us know if you guys are a one pot or a separate pot kind of couple. We're a little, I mean, it's one pot, but we still have our own bank accounts and stuff. But we treat all of our money as it's ours and not as it's one or the other's. So
yeah. I'm gonna start hiding my money. No, I'm just kidding. Nah. So yeah, let us know how you feel about that. Again, like, subscribe, all those good things. Leave us a review on Spotify or Apple. Yeah, let's keep elevating.
Yes.
Oh, and shout out to Babe. She got us new. So last episode we talked about our word for the year, and it's energy. So she got us like these bracelets.
Yeah.
That say energy on it.
Yes, from the Little Words Project. They're really cute, but I thought it'd be a fun way to constantly remind ourselves of our word.
Yeah.
So that's that.
More and more energy, more and more elevation, and we up.
Period.
All right, if you rock with me, then you rock with us. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.